What's good, y'all? Welcome to episode 8 of the 4Bs. We got a very special guest, the 5th B, Bella Lexi. Let's dive in.
I am the B. All right, I like it.
Welcome. Can we give a round of applause? This has been a long time coming.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for showing up. We've
Go
been working on
Broncos.
this for 2 months. Go Broncos.
Thanks for being here, Bella.
What does that have to do with our guest, guys? She's probably a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
We appreciate you being here. It's a big deal for you to be here. It's been a long time coming, us trying to get you, everything figured out for you to be here. But we wanted to start out by, if you could kind of, anybody that doesn't know your story, kind of fill us in on why we wanted to interview you, what happened a year ago. If you could just give us a rundown of what happened.
All right, so basically, I was a police officer. I was a cop for 14 years, worked in law enforcement for 28 total. And a couple of years ago, my husband and I had made an OnlyFans page just for some kinky fun.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Not anything malicious or anything like that. And initially, I didn't really pay much attention to the page because I was busy running a jail.
Okay.
So, I'm working 60 hours a week, whatever. But, we had always traded dirty pictures, whatever. So we had a lot of content. And a year ago, one of my former best friends I've traveled the country with found out about it and decided to tell my employer.
Wow.
So thank you, Amanda Lane at Castle Rock Police Department.
Ooh.
In fact, this is the first time I've been in Castle Rock since all that happened.
Wow.
No shit.
I have not come back down here for
It's
anything.
so fitting to be here
So
in Castle
this
Rock
is-
recording this right now.
I'm glad you get to come back with some fire.
Yeah. Bring all the heat.
Right. Yeah, so, but I was like, I'm not going back to Castle Rock. I don't want to run into anybody,
Right.
especially her. And so she told my work, and they started an investigation. And ultimately, I ended up taking an early retirement and a $30,000 severance package.
Wow. Do you have any idea what her motivation was for, ratting you out? Do you know what her...
I have speculation, so I probably shouldn't speculate, but according to her, she felt that my conduct reflected poorly on other women in law enforcement.
Okay.
Now, granted, nothing on my page said I was a cop.
Right.
I never wore a uniform.
Right.
So no one would know that.
Right, no. On my
Not like
page.
you with the NFL. Just recognizable.
Right. So I had a fake name. I said I was a stay-at-home mom with a side photography business.
Right.
Nothing indicated what I did for my real job.
Right.
So, but ultimately, those lemons ended up turning into some big lemonade stands for me.
Okay. Which is great. That's great to hear.
So, but I'll tell you, initially it sucked. The media started calling, someone leaked it to the media, and we're like, no, it's not a story. And he's like, well, I got to talk to my news director. It was Rob Lowe at Fox 31. And he calls back, he goes, well, my news director says it's a story. So you can either do an interview and get ahead of it. You can release a statement, whatever. Well, I already had an employment attorney, so we ended up doing the interview at her office, and then all the fires happened in Superior and all of that, so the story didn't break.
Right.
And someone took it upon themselves to then leak it to the British media.
Couldn't let it go.
No, so I get a phone call in the middle of the night. It's from the UK, and I'm all, I should probably answer this because this could be interesting. And they're like, hey, we're so-and-so with this publishing company, and we heard about your story, and we want to run it.
Right.
And we heard that it's gonna break in the Denver metro. I was like, okay, that's really weird because we had just been notified it was coming out that Monday at 9 p.m.
Oh, wow.
And so they're like, okay, well, we want to break it at 5 a.m. in our country the same day. So Mark's there with me, and I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And he's like, all right, well, let's because they're like, we want to do a video. Can you do a video statement?
Right.
So it's the middle of the night. So I'm like, he goes, we got this, babe. I'm like, okay. So I get to put on makeup, eyelashes, the whole thing, sit down, and in the middle of the night, we filmed this video statement, and we send it off to them. And at 5 a.m. that morning, I was global.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Overnight success.
Right. Yeah. If only it would have been that easy to become a cop.
So did you get a publicist, or did you just go off the cuff?
So initially I did have a publicist for the first couple of months
Right, that'd be tough.
because there was so much media. I mean, I was
Right.
doing interviews all around the world. Hungary, Germany, Australia, Mexico, locally here, Canada, like you name it, like everywhere. It was crazy.
So this goes without asking, but that helped business, right? I mean,
It did, yeah.
okay.
And now I'm in the 0% of OnlyFans creators, when at the time, I don't know, I can't even remember what I was. Maybe 4% or whatever at the time.
So like the top 99.
Yeah, so basically it's 0 to 100%. 0% is the top.
Okay.
And then when you're in 0%, it's almost like all of 0% is its own 100%.
Okay.
So if that kind of gives you an idea of
Sure,
how, that,
sure.
Wow.
how that works. So, but I'm in the top 10% of 0%ers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
yeah, and we've seen recently. I'm sure you've seen as well other people that have lost their jobs or have even just quit because they were making more money on their OnlyFans. Now was your OnlyFans? You said you weren't really paying a whole lot of attention to it. Was it lucrative at the time or?
We weren't making that much money at the time.
Okay.
Right.
But then after the story broke and I woke up and I'm like, holy shit, I've already made more overnight than I would have made in 6 months
Right.
That's awesome.
working
That-
overtime
Yeah.
That's
as a lieutenant. So ultimately, the financial piece of it has been rewarding.
Definitely.
But it did come at a cost. I mean, I had to sit down and have a conversation with my kids. Who wants to talk to your kids about that?
Sure.
right.
You know, parents on teams and
Right.
Not
family.
everybody wants to be in a microphone and explain themselves either. You
No.
know what I mean? I mean,
It is difficult, but at the same time, I've always been proud of what I've done. I always thought I would be a sheriff. Well, I'm never going to be a sheriff, but I could be the sheriff of porn.
yeah.
Right.
that's-
There we go.
Hell yeah.
So you know, here I am, and that's what I do, and that's my focus. And I have a lot of great things that are in the pipeline for me. And so it's not all about porn, but
Yeah.
you know what? Adult entertainment is fun.
Yeah.
It's work, but
Right.
it's fun and it's
Sure.
rewarding, and I get treated so much better.
That's good to hear.
Like
That's
Oh, wow.
great.
everybody, directors, producers, agents, talent, like everyone is so respectful and
Right.
helpful, and just I worked with a lot of cops who were assholes, and I have not encountered, luckily, one asshole yet.
Good.
That's cool.
That's
in the
awesome.
adult
I like
industry.
that.
So
Because there's all these preconceived notions, right, about what that industry consists of and how the people are.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear that insider perspective on like,
Yes.
hey, people are actually super respectful of some of the greatest people I've worked with. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of those documentaries, I mean, you have to look at what they're trying to put out there too, right? Like,
Right.
are they trying to shame sex workers?
Right.
You know, what do sex workers experience? That's what they should be looking at, not shaming people.
Right.
And how to
You
keep
know.
them safe. You know,
Right,
that's
exactly.
important.
Smart.
Oh, for sure. And so ultimately, I have a lot of goals. I'm working on a nonprofit.
Okay. What does that go to? Like,
I can't
Can
tell
you-
you a lot about it because it's still
in the works.
in the works, but I have a board of directors already.
Okay.
But it is going to be for sex workers to ensure that they are healthy.
Oh, I like
So
that.
definitely
So-
put a pin in that because we'll have to follow up on that.
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
badass.
I would
That's
like to
awesome.
hear more about that.
Yeah.
That's
So-
great.
And we'd
You know?
love to promote it too once
Yeah.
once you have it out there. I mean, we'll promote the hell out of it.
110.
Yeah.
110.
So because I was always worried about law enforcement mental health and law enforcement wellness.
Right.
Why not take that into the sex worker field,
Absolutely.
right? Like, I'm still the same person, and I
Right.
still have the same passions and the same,
Yes.
you know,
And-
interests and whatever. I'm just turning in a little different direction.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's I mean, I can go into some of the things I have coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's
no,
go ahead.
let's
Tell
hear
us.
about it. Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
So I just sealed a deal for a monthly feature article for an adult magazine that reaches 3 million people.
Wow.
And it's going to be for sex workers to write in and ask questions that are law enforcement related.
That's cool.
You know, is this legal, not legal?
Sure.
Whatever, things like that. It's going to be Lieutenant Bella's briefings.
Okay.
Write that down. Write that down. We need that.
I love that.
And in fact, when that starts, I will be the cover model. It'll start in January for my 1 year anniversary of
Give me
the
5
story
on that.
coming out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's it right there.
Yeah,
That's
so-
it right there.
And look at that.
Yo.
And then I just signed a book deal. In fact, my husband and I are traveling to Toronto in a couple of weeks to start hammering out the skeleton of the book. And it's going to be about relationship and sex advice.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that. So that should hit all major bookstores in May.
Okay.
So that'll involve some travel and
You got a
conversations.
lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Well, you got to make the best of it, right?
Absolutely.
I still am filming amateur content for my OnlyFans.
Okay.
And which is The Real Bella Lexi, and you can find that on my website. Just a
Oh.
little plug.
What is your website?
TheRealBellaLexi.com.
So
And you
book
can
release
find-
and all that content will be there whenever people
Yes.
are interested in it. Okay,
And
cool.
we'll put the
Yeah.
link in our description for this episode
It'll
too.
be hovering
Yeah.
over her head during the
Amazing.
broadcast.
That's
Yep,
right.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so super excited about that. And then, I'm just expanding my OnlyFans. We're looking at picking up some merch and things like that.
Cool.
So
the merch
it's-
game is huge.
Yeah.
That's people gravitate towards that like crazy.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what that's gonna look like, and
Right.
and then I'm also filming adult professional.
I was going to ask you about that.
Films.
So,
My Bang Bros video just came out.
yeah, so I was going to ask you about that. So,
Yeah.
what made you go from OnlyFans
Like how'd that
to
transition?
that? What was the deciding factor to go from OnlyFans to the porn industry?
I think there was a lot of conversation between my husband and I, which hands down he is so supportive.
Okay.
Like I am very, very lucky. Because there are a lot of women who work in this industry and do not have that support.
Right.
He's super supportive. I was like, look, babe, like this kind of seems like the next
Natural step.
and everything I had researched about it seemed legitimate, and so reached out. I sent out a couple of emails to some agents. I'm like, hey, here's my story,
Right.
would you be interested in picking me up? And
Right.
when I found Brian at AMA Modeling, he within 20 minutes was calling me, and he's like, girl, I want you. Like,
That's awesome.
You are mine. Like, I know your story. He goes, the reason it took me 20 minutes is I was talking to a partner of mine in California, and he's like, I couldn't believe you had emailed me. We all have known your story, and everyone was waiting to see who you were going to reach out to.
Right.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah,
But
'cause
no one pressured me.
we thought maybe they had approached you, but so you reached out. And,
I reached out. But
Cool.
that's how professional they are. Even knowing the whole story and being like, well, I can maybe make money off this girl's
Right.
story. No one reached out to me.
Oh, wow.
Really? That's
Yeah.
surprising.
That is
Yeah.
surprising.
Agents are like sharks.
yeah.
Yes.
I thought it would be opposite. Yeah, that's
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
because like
so
in the
he
sports
did-
world, it's completely different.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well,
It's like,
That's exactly
I
what I
hear
was
that.
thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
all over it. They hear about some young talent. It could be a kid who's only in middle school,
Yep.
and they're all over.
Oh,
it.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Your
Well, I'm
story-
huge into sports, so yes,
Yeah, so you know.
So, yeah.
Your story is like you'd be a #1 draft pick.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
For real.
I'd have been like, oh yeah, let's get her on the
Let's
line.
get her on the line. See if we can get this done.
She's going to Detroit Lions.
Who's that? Bob Sugar and Jerry Maguire?
That's a good thing because Detroit Lions always gets to pick first.
Yeah, well. That's true, but I'd be
Bet
one of
they
those.
do.
I'd be holding out for my Cowboys.
Oh, I did see that.
Yes. Yes.
Are you a big Zeke fan?
Oh, yes, because he went to the Ohio State.
That's
No.
okay.
Come on now.
Okay.
Yes. It's
Okay.
So how do you feel about Dak?
I'm really sad about Dak. But I'll tell you what, and ironically, Cooper Rush, we're watching the game and he played really well.
Played really well.
Right.
And so he looks like my plastic surgeon. So I get into my plastic surgeon app and I put their pictures together and I was like, dude, you didn't tell me you were moonlighting as Cooper Rush. Oh my God, he played so well.
Hell yeah.
And so Dr. Cox at Cox Cosmetic Surgeries, love him.
Okay.
Anyway, he's like, oh my God, and I'm the one on call because I didn't even care who was on call. I'm just putting this in
Right.
in the app, where you're only supposed to message if it's an emergency. I'm like, this is an emergency. Like,
I just seen Dr. Cox playing for the Cowboys.
Right.
Yes.
It's a definite emergency.
right. So yeah, but yeah. So anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the whole scoop of what's been going on. I'm super excited, and there's a lot of opportunity for people out there if you want to make the best of what's been handed to you. So, and then I get to do podcasts like this.
Yeah,
right?
that's
like
it.
hang out with the people in my home state. You guys are the first people to
That's
host me.
awesome.
Yeah. So
Thank you for
Thank you so much for coming with
Yeah.
us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is awesome. I gotta say, the biggest thing you said is the nonprofit. Like, you can take this to wherever you want, I think, but to nonprofit and give back is such a cool thing. So thank you for doing that. I mean, that is really above and beyond what you should need to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but it's such an underserviced community.
yeah,
you know?
100%.
And these women are people too, and they're your neighbor.
Oh yeah.
They are, the girl who serves you at Chick-fil-A. They are a former cop. They
Isn't
are
that crazy?
all
Because you
the
just
people.
never know who you're seeing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Agreed.
So
And
that-
so I think that's why we need to look
Yeah.
out for them.
To that point, we had an episode last time about like a lot of people are getting exposed for what they're doing in their personal life. I mean, is your nonprofit kind of there to help those people? Like, all right, I'm a nurse and then I have an OnlyFans because what I do in my personal time is what it is. But then I get exposed and I lose my job. So having the resources there to take the next step, is that kind of what the nonprofit is about?
Some of that will be involved in
Okay,
that.
cool.
It's going to be it's broad.
Yeah.
It's broad, I will say.
Sure.
Because there are so many needs in
Right,
that
right.
community. And now, having worked it on the law enforcement side and seeing how they can be victims,
Right.
right?
You get to,
And,
you get to see both
and
sides.
not treated as victims
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Correct.
by some law enforcement professionals.
Right.
Right.
Big air quotes.
Air quotes.
But to make sure that they're getting what they need. And those resources aren't out there because not everyone is a 0%
Right.
Oh
you
yeah.
know, creator who has the money, because I went through counseling as I lost my career, and
Yeah.
you feel lonely and you feel somewhat discriminated against,
Right.
and excluded
Yeah.
once people know that this is what you do. And so if you don't have the means or the resources to get mental health treatment, which is so
Right.
important, then
Yeah. Where do you turn?
Right,
yeah,
right,
and
turn.
and you don't want to be completely damaged either.
Right.
These girls don't deserve that.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that they need.
And when you mentioned it and brought up the nonprofit, like it honestly is something that I've never even thought about personally. I was like, damn, that's a great idea because nobody ever has any type of support for that industry at all.
Yeah, there's no empathy there.
No.
You know? Yeah.
No.
And then
it's looked
looking
down
at
upon.
and then looking at like what you went through, like you can look at the positives, like okay, where are you at today in your career? But I'm assuming at that time, like it had to have been devastating. You said you wanted to be a sheriff. You like you said, you got young kids and having to explain that to them, and you essentially you and your husband's whole life just thrown out there on the street, and it's like, hey, now you're on blast. That's a lot to deal with.
Oh yeah, for sure. But luckily, I'm a beautiful blonde with really big brains.
You made hay with those brains, though. I appreciate that.
And we've been able to do a lot of amazing things. So,
That's awesome, and the support that you and your husband is just the brief time we've seen you guys interact. I mean, you can see that's everything. I know. Probably a lot of these things wouldn't be possible without that. So
no,
You need
and,
support.
and we have a strong marriage because this has been very difficult.
oh, yeah.
And weeker people would have.
Crumble.
Shout out to Mark. Mark's
Yeah.
the man.
Mark is the
Yes.
man.
Go Kansas, and I will never say
Rock
that again on
chalk,
this
rock
show.
chalk.
But let's go
Can-
Kansas.
Can we get the
That
can we get
means
the
a lot.
applause? Can we get the applause? button?
Yes.
Get the applause button for Mark.
And let's go rock.
Go, Mark.
Yo, Mark.
Rock chalk, one time.
Whoa. I was going to say, let's just stop.
He did it.
Okay, we'll give him applause. We didn't need to go too far.
Um,
Relax.
So there's been talk on this show about a couple of us starting OnlyFans. Do you have like advice for anybody that would want to start an OnlyFans? How do you get out there? How do you market yourself? How do you take feet pics and people like it? You know?
Specifically, I thought about. We took a poll we took. What did they come back with?
A survey.
A
People
survey, a
want to
poll.
see them feet, dude.
They do want to see mine.
Yeah.
Big is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big is sexy. They wanted to see what I had to put out there.
What about dry?
Yeah.
What about dry?
A what?
Dry feet.
You'd be the biggest candidate.
I would be right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm right there with
you. Right there.
Yeah,
I can
Let
see
me
that.
ask
Check it.
Bella.
Yeah,
Bella,
your
second.
feet aren't as beautiful as mine.
I agree
I'm gonna put mine out. What
I
do you
agree
think?
100%.
What do you think? Let me sit them on the ground for you. This is
Yes. Oh.
Oh, it's all about presentation.
Yes, it
It's all
is.
about presentation.
Oh, look at those. Yeah, your feet are not as dry as his.
no. See what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying?
Put a nice toe ring on there.
See what I'm saying?
Your toes
So you
are
think I got what?
skinny. Oh.
You think I got the juice?
Heck yeah.
I got
Well,
the
she's
juice,
telling, she
nigga.
give me
I will-
pointers. You got to dress it up.
I will
right?
train you. You
You try-
sign up underneath me and I will coach you.
That's what I'm talking about. I just need a coach.
So do you,
Yeah.
do you have like a label type or
So I do coach new girls
Okay.
if they come
Wow.
in. And because there are people who coach who charge and I don't charge.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's a $1 billion industry and there's plenty to go around.
Right,
I
right.
don't need to be like, oh, I know all the secrets and I'm not going to tell anybody.
oh, that's cool.
I respect that.
You know, because
Yeah,
even as a
100%.
cop, right? I was a trainer. Let me
Oh, wow.
teach you to be a cop. Okay, let me teach you to be an OnlyFans creator. And it's work. I will tell you, you better be ready to put in some work,
Yep.
friend, because it's,
It's
not
not easy.
No.
I can imagine.
You know, because you have to think up campaigns and you have to think up outfits and you have to think up how do I not make everything look the same?
Right. It's
all the
everybody
time.
else. There's
That's a good point.
There's millions of people
Yeah.
out there.
I think that's something we
Yeah.
got to work on too.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe she could be our
For this
coach.
podcast, maybe maybe you could coach.
Yeah. Coach us up.
Tell us what we need to do.
So I have a question for you. What is the craziest request that you had from a fan?
Oh goodness.
Something
Something tells me this is gonna be real.
I want to see
I-
this.
No.
I get so many crazy things. I mean, I could open up my email right now and you guys would be like,
What the hell?
I don't. I've been proposed to
What?
hundreds of times. Please marry me. I get told, well, I don't want to see you make content with XYZ, so I'm gonna need you to stop.
What?
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, well.
Thanks
sound
for your
like-
concern.
So you get a lot of electric directors.
Yes. Yes. And you know, people ask for weird stuff. I don't do anything as far as bodily fluids or things like that. I get a lot of requests for that. But people want to buy panties, socks, my old uniform boots.
What?
Wow.
Your old uniform
Anything
boots.
from my old uniform they wanted. They're like, I'll buy your gun belt. I'll buy. Okay, what about your socks? What about? Did you wear a vest? Did you wear Under Armour? Did you?
No
They
way.
all wanted to buy all the things.
Well, because I was gonna ask that because I know that there's some people that sell crazy stuff. Some of these
Yeah.
creators, and there was one. It's like this lady was like bottling flatulence
Oh,
Yep.
farts in a jar?
and selling
Yeah.
it and making a killing.
And
at
then
it.
she got like really sick because she was forcing farts.
I mean, people did sell air from Kobe's last game.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
People are weird, man.
People that were in the
And people
stadium.
bought it.
Yep. Oh
But
yeah.
how did they know to bottle it for his last game?
They were just banging it.
There you go. See, I'm
So they were like, I breathe that air.
I
Let me
breathe
just
it.
jar this
We
up.
live in a weird place,
I'm,
man.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that was a gimmick, but
Oh, I do have some implants. My last set of implants. If we want to market,
We
those
can
and see
we
if-
can throw those on a. Let's get the bids
Let's
going.
auction-
A
let's
ra- a
auction
little
those
raffle?
off.
eBay
I'm going.
or Facebook Marketplace?
Let's auction those things off. Hey, anybody want to make any offers? Go ahead and leave it in the comments.
leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
We'll
So,
help raffle those. We'll auction that off for sure. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, there's just so many different things. But yeah, I do get a lot of requests to shoot with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I'm under contract right now. I
Sure,
can't just
sure.
shoot with whoever. And they're like, oh, it's okay because I'm working on getting into the porn industry, so maybe you can get me in with your agent, and then we can shoot together. And I was like, listen here, my man.
Big plans. Big plans.
I was like, as soon as you get in with that agent, you tell them you want to shoot with Lieutenant
Right.
Bella, and
Right.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, obviously, you have to have an agent to work with you. Like, just tell us because we don't know how that works. How does that
yeah.
work?
So basically, I told Brian, this is what I will do, this is what I won't do, and I want to work 10 days a month.
Okay.
And
Oh,
so he sets stuff up. He's like, okay, when can you come? I'm like, I can be there these days, whatever. And then he gets with all of these big porn companies and is like, hey, I have so-and-so. Here's pictures. Do you want to hire for a video or whatever? And so then they're like, okay, yeah. And then he books me out for the week.
For the week. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't shoot every day because it is work.
It is work. I'm sure.
I mean, it's exhausting, and you're shooting in Miami heat with humidity, no air conditioning.
Right.
You know, because it's loud.
That's it.
So So they turn everything off, and you can't open up the windows, and you can't. So it's,
Damn.
So
bet
I
that-
need a day off after every day I shoot, just because it's like it's a
Oh,
lot.
no question.
So how long does the shoot go for?
It depends. It's usually like 2 to 4 hours. I would say on average, and
Okay.
they turn out about a 30-minute video when it's all said and done. But you go through the whole process of consent, right?
Right.
They videotape you holding your ID. You go through this whole checklist. Is
Oh,
this
wow.
what you're willing to do
shit.
during this shoot? Here's a safe word. Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol? Because they want to make sure that you're making an informed consent.
Right.
All of those kinds of things.
Do you pick your own safe word?
No, they pick it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, you go through all of your tests. They show me whoever I'm working with their test.
Wow.
And it's the full blown testing process
Oh,
is like $300 that I pay, and they test for COVID and all the things.
And is that before each shoot you have to get tested?
No,
or-
so I get
Run for
tested for
time.
that week.
Okay.
Wow.
And then the COVID test is only good for it's like 5 or 7 days. So if I'm going to be there longer than that, then I have to go get another COVID test.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your first shoot. Like, that had to have been like nerve wracking.
It was like, and so they flew me to Arizona for my first shoot, and I did hotmilfsfuck.com.
What?
Yeah, and their whole thing is brand new women into the porn industry.
Okay.
Blockade.
Yeah.
So it's like-
Blockade
it's a
is
gateway.
really familiar.
That's my
with that.
favorite site.
God damn.
Yeah,
I'm a sub. I've seen it. Yeah.
He's a big fan.
hopefully you left a good comment on the
I did,
video,
yep.
so I can come back for the reunion.
Can't wait to be arrested. Was my comment.
He subscribes.
Right, but so my husband takes me to the airport, and he's like, "All right, you good?" I'm like, "I'm good." And you get on the plane, you're like, "Wow, this is really happening." I'm like, "Whoa, okay, it's all right, it's cool, it's work, it's a job." Like,
Right.
So they send me a car. I get in the car, and I'm driving, and we go to this location that's like 10 minutes from the Phoenix airport, and this neighborhood is sketch AF. Like, we're pulling in, and I'm in this nice ride, and I'm all,
Yikes.
okay, what did Brian sign me up for? Like, I told him I'm not doing anything like ridiculous.
Right.
And this neighborhood is like not nice. And then all of a sudden we pull up to this house that's like incredible and does not look like it belongs in this neighborhood.
Right.
And it ends up being an Airbnb and whatever. And like the director comes out and meets me at the curb. He opens the door. He's like, "Hi," blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, I feel a little better because the house looks nice on the outside.
Yeah.
Inside, fully furnished, looks amazing.
Right.
And so hair and makeup. Like, I was able to take a shower as soon as I got there. They did my hair and makeup, and all the consent and everything. And then we started shooting. And then afterwards on that one, they do a confessional. So after you shoot,
Okay.
you go in the bathroom and they video you saying how it went, what you thought or whatever. And then you take your shower, and that's
Oh, I didn't get to see that.
He was done watching before the
sure
interview.
you'll-
Hey,
I'm sure
listen,
you'll
it's
circle
not
back.
my fault that you only made it 20
So,
minutes.
so it's been a good experience. You haven't had any bad ones
No.
quite yet. I
No,
mean,
I
I'm not
mean,
trying to like.
don't
you
jinx
know.
me now.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But that's
But yeah,
awesome. I mean,
so-
everybody's treated you with respect, and it's been good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so.
And you mentioned stuff you won't do.
What is it?
What is it? Can you say that?
I'm not gonna do anal on camera,
Okay.
and I don't do anything really rough.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to get smacked around. I'm more dominant, and that is who I am as Bella.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm not weak, right? Like,
Right.
if you look at my episode with Little D for Bang Bros,
Okay.
which that dude is fucking amazing. I'm just gonna say,
He cool.
He's the coolest kid.
Okay.
Coolest kid. And so he like tries to get a little aggressive, whatever. And you see him on port. He's trying to grab my head. I was like, "Don't you touch my head." Like, no, we're not gonna do this.
right.
Okay, I'm in charge.
Right.
There you go.
I like it.
So I more or less get to kind of drive
That's what I was going to
drive
ask.
that.
Is
Right.
it,
And
is it
are you
scripted
always
at all?
and are you always the lieutenant? Or do you do different?
So right now, everything has kind of been that law enforcement related thing,
Right.
which I mean,
It's still kind of fresh.
It
I
is.
mean,
Yeah.
It happened a
it
year
is.
ago, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so it's funny because never wore my uniform ever on OnlyFans before it was discovered, and now it's like my shtick.
Right.
Like
I
I,
mean,
have
it
a,
was-
I have a uniform that I wear with a super sexy skirt.
Okay.
You know, knee
Yeah.
high
Jazzed it up.
boots, and I mean, I play Lieutenant Bella like a
Yeah.
boss.
Hell yeah, you do.
That's great.
Hell, use it, right? Why not use
Yes,
it?
Got
absolutely.
to.
Yeah.
That's where it was created off of. I understand.
Yeah, but you know, I'm excited. I'm really hoping to do some work with Brazzers, all of the major. Yeah,
Major
like,
players.
Is that in the works?
just say stay tuned.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Okay.
respect that.
Okay.
That's what's
We'll
up.
see what shows up, but yeah, I'm really excited. There's a
Hell
lot of great
yeah.
opportunities. So
So I have another question for you. So has OnlyFans reached out to you because you obviously bought them a lot of business too?
Traffic.
no, I've heard
No.
nothing from them.
Really? That's surprising.
Huh.
Yeah, nothing.
I mean, you put them on. I mean, like it was already put on, but you really.
Right.
I mean, you did international for them.
yeah,
Yeah, the more these stories break, right? The
Right.
more
Yeah.
publicity they get.
yeah.
Yes.
And people find out about OnlyFans and like,
Yeah. And I will say part of me is a little concerned with some of the stories that come out. Like there was a Detroit cop just came out.
Oh,
2
I think
weeks
you saw
ago.
We saw that.
I'm just gonna say, like, I dug into her because I was gonna reach out
Yep.
and be like, "Man, girl, I'm so sorry. This super sucks. Oh, you've only been a cop since March.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's,
Oh.
that's different.
Wow. Okay, so to me, and when you start looking, and she only has, 8 photos up on her Instagram, and she only has like 40 some photos on
She's
her
trying to be you.
OnlyFans. I'm like, bitch, do not fabricate something.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
she went and told
Yeah.
on
Get
her-
outta
she told
here.
on herself.
Yeah,
kissed
and I'm
herself.
like, and I will support women who are truly a victim.
100%.
Of this.
But I get where
But
you're coming
when,
from with that.
when you
yeah.
manufacture
Yeah.
a situation and then try to capitalize,
I'm the next
on
Bella. What's up?
Yeah.
So
Hey,
you got the
everybody.
feeling she was trying to replicate
100%.
your
Yeah.
story.
8 months in the force. Come on.
Yeah, but she didn't lose a 28-year career
Right.
that I wasn't ready to be done with.
100%.
So that's just a totally different situation.
Yeah.
Right.
But on the surface, oh wow, it looks really bad. My heart went out to her. I was gonna reach out.
Right.
Like I do try to reach out to people if I can find a way to contact them if they've lost their job over something like that or whatever.
Right.
Because like Mrs. Poindexter was so amazing to me through this whole thing. Her kids got kicked out of Catholic school in California over her OnlyFans, and like they lived in this small community, and all the women were like haters
Shaming her,
and
yeah.
shaming her. So I reached out to her. I was like, "Hey, this shit's about to blow up, and I don't know what to do. Like, I'm overwhelmed." And she was so cool through the whole thing, and just like, be ready for this, and be ready for this, and
Right,
here's how
right.
you handle
Right.
this, and so I want to do that for other people. But when
Right.
I dug into this bitch, I'm like,
It's you on your own.
You're doing your due diligence. I respect
Yeah.
that 100% because,
So.
on the surface it looks like the same thing. But yeah, I mean, she's trying to be Bella Lexi 3. So,
yeah.
I mean,
And there
get out
is-
of here.
There is only
Get outta here
Bella
with that
Lexi.
Sit your ass down.
Yeah.
You're not ready for this.
There's only Bella Lexi, the original.
there's only
That's
one.
right. That's it.
Only one.
Exactly.
So do you? I know you had wanted to be sheriff. You enjoyed that career. Is there anything you missed from that life or?
Actually, now that I'm out now,
No.
I do not miss that at all.
Sounds stressful.
Yeah.
It was, and at first, I'd hear sirens or whatever. I'm going,
Should I help?
what? You drive by a traffic stop, you're like, oh, okay, they look good, Now, I'm like, somebody should probably call that in. Because now I don't have to hit my lights, and I don't have to jump out, and I don't have to
Right.
get involved. And I didn't think I was going to be that way, but I am one of the few people who truly enjoy retirement from law enforcement.
Good.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And it seems like you're loving what you're doing and living your best life. That's, like you said, a lot less stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can speak
Yeah.
for all of us. We're happy for you. I mean,
Yeah.
this is
100%.
cool as fuck that a story broke and at the time probably it was tough for you to swallow that this is happening and then
Turn it into
boom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're doing something that, isn't as much stress and enjoying it a lot more. So that's cool. We're
Get
all
to help
happy
a
for you.
cause.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm still part of a female police union. So I still speak with other female law enforcement people who are
Cool.
going through shitty circumstances at work, and then we vet their situation and we help them with legal representation and things like that. So I do still have a little bit of a hand in it,
Right.
but it's more or less to help people who are maybe a victim of their employer.
That's really cool.
Yeah, well, that seems like
you do a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it seems
I
like
mean,
that's
honestly.
your personality. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna ever walk away from it. Sounds like in that regard. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
It's funny because I just ordered this OnlyFans bucket hat,
Yeah.
and it's all fuzzy and whatever, for when I snow blow for all my old folks' neighbors. Because I still do that. I'm still the same person, right? But I'm
Right,
out there
right.
in my snow blower and my OnlyFans
I love
bucket
that.
hat.
That's so cool.
We need a picture of
I
that.
was gonna
so
say
cool.
we need a picture of that. You have to send that in.
Yeah, so
Well, I can speak for all of us when I say we appreciate you being here. I want to shout out Babes in Bronze
yes.
because that's how this connection was made.
Yeah. So Babes in Bronze, I've known her for probably about 6-7 years, and she's phenomenal. She does spray tanning. I got mine done there. If you're trying to get this type of bronze, fuck with her because I'm about to go next
Okay,
week.
then I'm gonna tell Ashley I want that tan the next time I go in
That-
because she does all my.
I know.
my
That's how we connected.
Yeah.
So
Get
I
the
just-
brown special.
Yeah, get the brown special. The brown special is gonna take off for you. I mean, you see what Bella looks like. Bella's
Yeah.
looking awesome today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for coming too.
Thank you.
This is such a blessing to have you on the show.
Thank you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's been
super
fun.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I also want to shout out Mark. I've only known him for about 20 minutes, but Mark is the man.
Yes, he is.
Mark is the man.
Mark is the man. Thank you for being here as well.
Shout out Mark.
This was awesome. I
This was
appreciate
awesome.
you guys being here. Everybody, this was the best. So thank you very much. See you on the next one.
All right,
All right.
four
Thank
B's.
you.
Like and subscribe.
Thank
Like and
you.
subscribe.
TheRealBellaLexi.com.
That's it.
Go
Throw it
check
up
it out.
there.
Yeah.
TheRealBellaLexi.com.
Listen to that voice.
He changes it up.